What's up, everybody? Once again, coming at you as always through the power of the internet. Well, a movie day, I go. Need you to oh, she won't, cause away day. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. What's up, everybody? Make sure you guys hit that like button as you roll in. It really does help. As the viewers go up, so too should the likes. What is happening? I don't know. Not yet. Like, nothing yet. As of right now, we're just sitting here getting ready to have a conversation, hopefully. Tell you what, though, I am going to switch to my other kind of cart. I don't have time for a hybrid, so I'm going to switch to that. SFVOG. Okay. Good old hybrid. 90% THC. Just put this strawberry cough back in its little case here, and I will be right back with you guys. Oh, whatever. It's in there. Now, our cart should be plentiful. Plentiful. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, by the way. Every single time you hit that like button, it's another chance to send the stream out to even more people, which increases the quality of your viewing pleasure by increasing the number of people who can get in chat. So please do that now if you haven't done so already. Thank you. Imagine this trans man in football equipment. Huh? I'm a trans woman. What? Wait Wait a minute. That should be. I thought it was. Hold on. Okay. I guess my sativa and my hybrid both have red tims. Wasn't sure there for a second. Do you have a double chin? Yeah. Especially if I like sit up? Yeah, definitely. Walk for lunch? If I'm just going back and forth from over there to back here, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to walk. I've got a rolly chair, spin, you know. Well, maybe I can't spin right here because my legs are too long, but in theory, I could spin, you know. I can roll. I could roll better if I roll backwards, probably. Watch. Roll. See? Why do you have a double chin? Probably because I'm fat. I don't know. Lots of people with double chins out there. I'm pretty sure we all have them for basically the same reason. Why? I don't know what you're saying why about, but right on. Smoking weed and eating fast food all day, sitting on a chair, has your gallbladder exploding yet? Man, number one, learn how to write a properly formatted sentence. And number two, I don't normally spend my days sitting around all day eating fast food and streaming. That's just a specialty because I happen to be able to do that right now. I'm at a hotel, don't have a whole lot else to do. I don't know what that means, Carbon. I don't know what the fuck you're even trying to tell me. I don't know if that's an insult or a compliment. Vaping is bad? Man, I really couldn't have deduced that from the multiple warnings that are placed on every tobacco product that you buy in this country. Holy shit! You've blown my mind, man! Yeah, that's the thing, Kelly. Why do they care? Like legitimately, how does it affect their life whatsoever? It doesn't. Not one bit. You play Fortnite? No. Phoebe, why is there the word cute in the title? Because I'm cute. At least according to some of the chasers in chat, anyway. Why are you dressed like a girl? Because I am a girl. No one thinks you're cute, sir? Okay. No, what's proven by science is the validity of trans identities. Trans people have been well studied and well documented over the last 100 years. That is what's backed up by science, friend. You're not a girl, and nothing says I'm an expert like a random person online with a badly typed comment that they couldn't care properly, that they couldn't care enough to properly spell check. Can you define gender for all us idiots, please? I really don't think you guys are all idiots. I think there's always a pretty healthy chunk of idiots in my chat. Sir, please walk to your local grocery store and buy some Ozempic. No. I don't need Ozempic. I've been losing weight steadily over the last year. And number one. And number two, I'm not a fucking sir. There's no better identity than being a follower of Christ. I can think of about 1,000,000 identities better than being a follower of Christ, my friend. I know trans people can't help it, but I can't help being grossed out, not gonna lie. I don't think it's really ending any trans person's life because you personally are grossed out by it, you know? I'm really not out here on a mission to make sure that nobody is ever grossed out by trans people. I'm really, if anything, out here on a mission to get people to baseline tolerate us. That would be nice. Baseline tolerance would be cool. Make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. There are 80 of you watching right now. If half of you guys hit that like button or double tap your screen, whichever one you've got available, we would have 40 likes on top of the 11 we already have. That would be a total of 51. So please hit that like button if you haven't done so already. I really do appreciate it. Also, consider donating directly to my Cash App if you would like to, or through Super Chat. Either way, if you would like to get your comment or question read or answered, I do read every single one as long as it doesn't violate TOS. Excuse me. I appreciate it immensely, and it's a great way to financially support the channel if you like what we're trying to do here, bringing together people from all different walks of life to have coarse conversations about things that actually matter, ostensibly. As a Christian, I clearly don't agree with your ways, but I do wonder why do people become trans? Because we live our whole lives being expected to live as a gender identity that feels alien to us, and we find the other end of the spectrum more appealing. That's literally as simple as it is. Like, if you felt like you were going to crawl out of your skin every time somebody expected you to put your clothes on, and you felt like you were going to crawl out of your skin every time somebody expected you to be into something merely because you're a boy or you're a girl, well, you'd be trans, number one. And number two, you'd understand the experience. But that's what it's like to be trans. To be trans is to feel to feel completely unrealized and completely alien in the gender role that you're assigned and that everybody expects of you. And that's why trans people come out and start living as the opposite gender. Hello, young lady. Fun fact, the inventor of petroleum jelly ate a spoonful of it every day and lived to be 96 years old. Did he really? Is that true? Do you have any hobbies besides being trans? I find it helps to cope. Being trans for me isn't a hobby. It's just a fact of my life. As far as the hobbies I've got, obviously streaming is a big hobby of mine. Um, uh, Gardening. Um, Lately, I've been fucking around with like old broken appliances around the farm, trying to get them back up and running. I guess you could consider that a hobby. Reading every so often and gaming every so often. Those last two, I will get into. I will get into reading, and I will read every night for like 2 weeks, and then I won't read again for 2 months. And gaming, I will get into it for 2 weeks, and then I won't game again for 2 months. Nothing says farm life like trans. Does living on a homestead preclude you from being trans? News to me. Do you like Charlie Kirk? No. No, I actually think Charlie Kirk was a backwards, bigoted moron who nevertheless did not deserve to die like a dog on the street. I think it's a real shame. Um, Not necessarily because he was some kind of good guy or some kind of paragon of virtue, but because he was somebody out there just speaking his mind. Um, wrong as he may have been, I don't think he deserved to die for being wrong. Do you lick chickens? Nope. Where's your Sonichu medal? I shoved it up your mom's pussy last time we were hanging out. Hey man, how's it going? Love your rolling Shrek. Oh yeah, that was the one that got all the ladies. I mean, that was how I got your mom's number, honestly. Like she saw me in Shrek, and she was like, "Oh my god." I'm not even trying with you guys because you guys aren't even trying with me. I mean, so you're into women? I'm into that woman. Just because you can't get a BF/GF doesn't mean you have to be trans, so you have an excuse. I have had boyfriends and girlfriends consistently throughout my life, regardless of whether I was out as trans or not. I'm currently partnered with somebody. They like I'm in New Jersey right now. They're in Mississippi, but you can look at some of my other streams and you can literally see them participating in them sometimes. You see them in the background and shit. um, Consistently stayed partnered up throughout most of my life. So I don't know. Try again. Do you think you're a woman? I know that I'm a woman. What do you think about twinks? I like twinks. Twinks are cool. I'm not personally attracted to twinks, but twinks are chill. As a trans person, what will you do when you start balding because your sex is male and almost every male has male pattern baldness? I will not bald. Neither my father nor my mom's father has male pattern baldness, so I will not be balding. Neither of my grandfathers on either side do either. Or did. I guess most of them are dead now. It's incredibly sexist to call yourself a woman when you haven't experienced their lived experience. I'm not going to take feminism advice from a cis man named Aaron. Sorry. If an actual turf with a vagina wants to come debate trans medicalism with me, if an actual if a turf with a vagina wants to come in here and argue that shit, I'll take it from them because at least they're acting in good faith. You are co-opting someone else's arguments that are probably too complicated for you to even understand, much less parrot in the fashion that you're doing here. And I will not ennoble you with a response. alone, yo. I feel better, but at what cost? What's up, everybody? Hi. Trans women or women, if you don't like that, cry about it, I guess. Yeah, that's my thing, you know. What am I going to do about it, number one? Am I going to change your mind? Probably not. But if you sit around and watch me, you might become more familiar with trans people in general, and you might learn a little something from the experience. So you might as well hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell so you get notifications about streams in the future. I appreciate people having the conversations instead of promoting hate. That's my thing. Yeah. I'm just trying to have conversations. I'm just out here trying to ask questions, you know? Biological men cannot be women. It's literally impossible. That's not. It is. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it is possible. I don't. Like, go look up Mayo Clinic transgender and read all about trans people. Read about gender dysphoria. Read about how some people are born with a feminine psychology, despite the fact that they have a penis and balls and outward masculine sexual characteristics. Go read about how some people are born with a masculine brain, despite the fact that they're born with a vagina and a clitoris and all like tits and all kinds of other feminine sexual characteristics. Not hard shit to look up. Not hard shit to learn about. Not hard to educate yourself. If a woman has high testosterone, should she feel more manly? Should she? I feel like that's a prescription. I feel like that's a prescriptivist statement, but I feel like there's a descriptive truth. I don't know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Get a job. I am legally employed, my friend. Sorry. I'm sorry you don't like my particular mode of employment. I'm sorry it doesn't match your standards. Oh, great king. Should she feel? Yeah. Your voice gives it away, so yes, it does. The fact that I don't voice train does not make me invalid as a trans woman. I'm sorry. There are plenty of women with voices just as deep as mine. There are plenty of women with voices that are deeper than mine, in fact. What do you do for a living? Believe it or not, I talk bullshit on the internet. I do exactly what you're saying here. I have conversations, and if people enjoy the format, if people like the kind of environment that we're providing here, they donate. Trans women are men. That's just you saying that does not actually make it true, my friend. By the way, make sure you guys hit that like button. I haven't pimped it much this stream, but I really do appreciate it. It really does help the stream immensely. Every single time you hit that like button, it's a chance to send the stream out to even more people, which increases the quality of your viewing pleasure by increasing the number of people engaging in the chat. So please hit that button if you haven't done so already. Thank you. It really does help. And also consider sending a super chat or contributing directly via Cash App, which can be found in my channel description. Thank you. I always have to go through that every 20 minutes or so. You'll have to forgive me. Will you recognize me as a baby gecko? Sure. Baby gecko self. I don't care. What hair is it off my back? Is this what gender-neutral Peter Griffin with a master's in English looks like? At least you recognize that I've got skill with the English language. At least you recognize that I've got the vocabulary of an English professor. I appreciate that, if nothing else. Is your dad happy with you? I think in a lot of ways. I think there's some ways in which he is not. I think he wishes I had done more by this point in my life. Because like he thinks that I feel like he sees too much of himself in me, in that way. Um, there's also plenty of my mom in me, but I think in one way he um, kind of resents the fact that I think our early 20s kind of followed the same path more or less, and I think our mid 20s kind of did too. But I'm trying to build something now. The channel continues to grow, the earnings continue to grow from this, and hopefully at some point, I mean, I really do want to have, I don't want to have like a Young Turks level media network, but I would like to have some kind of little independent media network operating here on YouTube, maybe a couple of other places as well. Maybe our own website at some point. Oh, that would be ideal. But I would love to have some reporters in different countries and in different cities here in America. I would love to have some staff writers and stuff like that. I've got big aspirations for what this channel could eventually become, or maybe not this channel, but a related property, something like that. But the first step is growth. The first step is getting enough capital, getting enough capital both in the form of actual money and in the form of just people, trusting your name and image enough to make something like that feasible. Did you answer my Muslim question? I had to leave the stream momentarily. What was your Muslim question? I'll look at your channel activity. It's taking forever to load. Now, if you give me a second. It doesn't say you ever sent a question about Muslims. That looks like your first chat, my friend. You're a hippie and you're complaining about drugs? Me? Me? No. If you're employed, then why are you sitting in a hotel? Now that's the dumbest fucking sentence I've ever read in my entire fucking life. That is the dumbest fucking thing. Here's all the situations just off the top of my head that I could be in. I could be on vacation. I could be on a business trip. I could be meeting a client. I could work out of a hotel. I could I could be an owner of a hotel and just be chilling out in one of the rooms or living out of one of the rooms. Like, there's a number of situations in which an employed person might be hanging out in a hotel room. Not only that, but in my particular case, I'm self-employed through YouTube, so this is my job, believe it or not. I know, crazy to believe. But like it or not, my channel growth is consistent. People seem to resonate with my message more often than they don't, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Why do you do a YouTube channel and 9-to-5 job? I don't. I don't have a regular 9-to-5 job. This is what I do. My regular 9-to-5 job is being a stay-at-home mom. That's one of the reasons why coordinating this trip was so difficult, is because arranging all that care. I don't think of myself as being that integral, integral. Yeah, I don't think of myself as being that integral to the household. But when I went to do the planning for this, I started to realize oh shit, maybe I am an important part of this household. I'm so self-demeaning. You're a dad? Well, no, I'm a mom. How much money do you get from YouTube? Like 20 cents a month? 20 cents a month? 20 rents a month. 20 cents a month? No. I don't think I'm supposed to talk about my numbers, actually, but it's in the hundreds, but not in the thousands. I'll put it that way. Dude, you sound like a chill guy. Please turn to Jesus. He's the only one who ever loves you for who you truly are. It doesn't matter if you feel insecure or hated. He'll love you. Please turn from this sin. The Bible doesn't say that being trans is a sin, not one time in the entire book. If Jesus is real in the way that you guys think he is, he loves me just as much as he loves you, just as much as he loves all God's children. By the way, 230 people watching. If half of you guys hit that like button right now, that'd be 115 people. So please consider hitting that like button. That is a tremendous amount of likes, and we could have that. It's in our grasp. But half of you guys have to hit that button. So double tap your screen or hit the like button if you've still got one. If you trans girl left, I am a mess. Yeah, I am a mess. I'll give you that much. Have you heard of autogynephilia? Yeah, I think it's a largely fictitious accusation levied at trans women to discredit their transition process. This is terrifying. I cannot conceive of what could possibly be terrifying about a fat trans woman sitting around on YouTube Live in a muumuu. Sitting around in a muumuu on YouTube Live. Yeah. The face of terrifyingness. This is the face of danger in America. So scary. So terrifying. You look great. Sorry for the hate you're receiving. Oh, don't be. Their view hours count just as much as anybody else's does. YouTube likes to see them in here interacting with my stream just as much as they like to see anybody else in here interacting with the stream. Speaking of interacting with the stream, nobody has super chatted yet. Nobody. And that is wild. We are 36 fucking minutes in and nobody has super chatted. Nobody has sent a Cash App donation. Neither of those have happened. And we are 37 minutes in. What am I doing wrong? We're talking about all the normal topics. We haven't really gone into theology yet. Is that what we need to do? Do we need to have a Bible conversation? Do I need to look around and find the Gideon? I'm sure there's one in here somewhere. Here you go. Well, thank you. See? Money for what? Probably just because he appreciates the content, honestly. A lot of people that donate for what I think is the most just and honorable reason, which is because you just like sitting around watching this shit. You like watching people have arguments about things that they're passionate about. You like being able to have a chat where you can come and hang out and use whatever language you want, not get banned just for that alone. You like having a place where you can be a deep right conservative or a deep left fucking anarchist liberal, or not anarchist liberal, but an anarchist leftist or a Democrat liberal or whatever, and you're not going to be banned merely for being wrong. You're not going to be banned merely for having an opinion, even if you present it in a kind of hateful way. Like that's not how we work around here. And I think a lot of people appreciate that. Thank you for the gift, by the way, the gems. I appreciate those. Thank you so much. It was the 15 gem thing. I think yeah, I appreciate it. You don't know anything about the Bible, and you have no right to decry something you don't understand. I know way more about the Bible than probably you do, honestly. I'm not even trying to be insulting towards you. It's just like I've spent a profound amount of my time studying the Bible and reading the Bible, and I was raised with the Bible, so the chances that I am not familiar with it at least as much, at least insofar as much as you are, dubious proposition at best. I'm probably just as familiar. God says it's an abomination. Maybe read the Bible before stating the Bible says nothing about it. Where does God say it's an abomination? Well, because that sounds like you're quoting Leviticus, which has nothing to say about trans people. At best, you could argue that Leviticus has an admonition against cross-dressing, but I would make the argument that Christians are not beholden to Leviticus. Christians are not beholden to Mosaic law, and the proof of this is that our society as it exists today would not function if Mosaic law was applied to it. A woman shall not wear a man's garment, nor shall a man put on a woman's cloak. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord your God. Okay, so Deuteronomy has at best an admonition against cross-dressing. Once again, at best. I'm not a woman putting on a man's cloak. I'm not a man putting on a woman's cloak. I am a woman wearing a woman's cloak. That is what a trans person is. A trans person is not cosplaying the gender that they identify as. A trans person is living organically as that gender. One of the reasons why the Bible is difficult about talking about these issues, one of the reasons why the Bible is, one of the reasons why the Bible isn't a very reliable narrator when it comes to the reality of human morality, and one of the reasons why the Bible isn't a very good source for modern morality is because it really has nothing to say about more particular situations. There was a lot of potent misinformation floating around in that particular region at that particular point in time, and the idea that those people can be trusted to have good moral lessons universally in every place is a pretty fucking dubious proposition. Mind you, these are the same folks that said that eating shellfish was a moral abomination, right? We're talking about the same set of books. This is all Old Testament shit. Deuteronomy is Old Testament shit. So we're talking about the same set of books that decries eating shellfish as a moral abomination. By the way, hit that like button. I haven't pimped it much this stream, but it really does help the channel a lot. Please hit that like button if you've not done so already. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, etc., etc. Thank you. Yes. Oysters, I don't know if oysters are disgusting or not. I don't know that I've ever actually had oysters. For real, for real. Duct tape on the glasses. Dude, I've had duct tape on my glasses for so long, and you are the first person to actually commentate on it. These glasses are fucked up. Fucked up. That's why you guys gotta help me keep growing my channel so I can eventually afford to get new glasses. Excuse me. Don't have oysters, they're boogers. Gross, dude. Although, if their texture is at all like bobas, I'll probably like them. Yellow teeth, bro. At least you know my teeth are real. At least I ain't like one of these politicians out here with a bunch of fucking fake motherfucking dentures or some shit pretending to be a living person while they're actually a walking corpse. Enjoy hell? Hell is not real. Hell is a myth that they made up to tell little kids to keep them in line. And it's one of the most fucked up myths that Christians tell to little kids, by the way. The greatest fighters in the world are religious? Source? Someone get their grandma? Somebody come get her. She's streaming like a stripper. Somebody come get her. Yeah. We're in hell. Y'all slow. Yeah, I'm saying. Have you seen a therapist? Yes, I have. Leave little kids out of it? I really don't think anybody on earth is trying to convince little kids to be trans. Every so often, a kid comes to their parents and is like, man, I really do not feel comfortable in the gender assignment that I've been given for most of my life, and I would really like to branch out and experiment with something different. And every so often, a progressive parent chooses to let their kid experiment in that way, and conservatives break their fucking neck over it because they think it's the worst thing in the world. They think it's the worst thing in the world for a little boy to experiment with his gender identity by wearing a dress. They think it's going to they think it's going to literally end civilization itself if you let an 8-year-old boy wear a dress. When the fact of it is, there's a good chance that next week he doesn't want to wear a dress ever again, and it never enters his fucking little brain again. But if it is something that's actually important to them, and they turn out to be a trans kid, and 2 years later they're still wanting to wear girls' clothes, and they still want to be involved in girls' youth groups and stuff like that, then it's pretty safe to say that your quote-unquote little boy is a little girl. It's pretty safe to say that you have a trans kid. And this is not bullshit. This is not unverified. This is literally look it up. It's called the Dutch Protocol. You can go read all about it. You can read up all about how the Dutch have figured out how to identify and treat trans kids so that they have a successful transition and a much happier life as they go on. $1, thank you for the dollar. I appreciate it immensely. But yeah, you know, like I said, I don't think anybody's trying to convince little kids. It's just that, like, every so often a trans kid is gonna happen. Trans adults happen. That means trans kids probably happen. It's just that kids usually aren't allowed to express their gender that openly. They're usually restricted in what kind of gender expression they can have. And in some ways, I can understand it. There's some context in which I think you would have to limit a kid's gender expression, possibly for their own safety. But I think in a controlled environment, under your supervision, I think it's perfectly safe to let a kid experiment with their gender identity. There's nothing sexual about it. There's nothing weird about it. It is a completely normal part of childhood. And like I said, the vast majority of kids that go through that are going to be completely cisgender. They're not going to be, it's not going to turn them trans. But a kid who is trans is going to be validated by that, and they're going to realize, oh my God, I feel so much better. Say no to eugenics? I'm already anti-eugenics. So, my 7-year-old will call you out due to no filter. Okay. 7-year-olds get shit wrong all the time. What are you talking about? What was that supposed to prove some kind of point? I've raised my 7-year-old to be transphobic, and they would know that you're not a girl. It's like, fucking giant. I'm fucking color me surprised. A transphobe's child would call out a trans person in public. Man, I'm shocked. Truly am I shocked. The eyes give it away. Best wishes. Sir. Okay. Thanks for paying me to hate me. I love you guys. You guys keep me afloat, man. So to that person that said I make 6 cents a month on YouTube, no. Just in November alone, I've made $9.31 so far. And November is, it's been around for 2 hours and 55 minutes. So, explain how you were a mom like you said. What do you mean? Explain it. Like, I'm a trans woman, so I was assigned male at birth. So I think you can figure out how it happened biologically. I think you can make those calculations in your own head. I think you can give yourself that mental image if you want to. Or you can join the Frey Discord and watch my sex tape, I guess. So if you feel like murdering someone, this is going to be a fucking stellar argument. So if you feel like murdering someone and that's important to them, should they just do it because they feel like it? No. No. But how does being trans in any way compare to someone being murdered? Stop judging, bro. Like, you can't just stop. Are you stupid? Oh, yeah, I forgot because you are stupid. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are fundamentally driven by their need to bring attention to themselves and to have themselves be known as the coolest little transphobe out there, or whatever they think is going to get them the most attention in any given space. A lot of these people being transphobic in here would be being racist if I were black or Mexican. They would be being sexist if I was just a cis woman. A lot of these people are not. They're not so much. They're not so much actually bigoted as they are attention seekers, utterly bent on turning the conversation towards them and seeing someone rage out. And one of the reasons why I piss them off so much is because I don't rage out. I respond to their comments calmly, and pretty much the only things that make me ever rage out are people defending capitalism too much. Says the person on the live stream to get attention from strangers. Yeah, the difference between me and you guys, though, is I know it. I know I'm an attention-seeking fucking... Like, I know I'm a fat bitch that seeks attention all the time on the internet. I'm fucking fine with it, and I found a way to monetize it, what's more. So I've addressed it in my life. I figured out a pretty healthy coping mechanism to deal with that impulse in my life. In you guys' life, it has turned you into a monster of MAGA parroting, brain-rotted, brainworm-filled automatons who have no soul of your own and who have no capability of actually having a conversation. Normal people replace their glasses annually in order to maintain their vision. Nothing to do with being whatever you are. When did I say that my glasses had anything to do with me being trans? What does that have to do with a fucking thing? The reason I haven't replaced my glasses in 6 years is because I haven't had fucking consistent health insurance in 6 years, bitch. Man, I fucking hate self-righteous pricks like that. I don't hate you. You do that on your own. I don't hate me one bit. I love myself. Thank you for the $2. Then get a job. I have a job. I've been working that job for 50 minutes now, just tonight. And so far, I've made $11.31. But if anybody wants to give me a raise, feel free. Feel free. I love it. I love it. I love the super chats. You can also donate to my Cash App, which is in my channel description. That is, tax free and YouTube cut free. If you say no to eugenics, then how do you explain abortion, trans, or Gaza? What makes you think I'm okay? So when it comes to abortion, I'm not like I don't love the idea of abortion, but I'm also pretty fond of people having the right to choose because I recognize that there are a lot of situations in which a person should not be required to carry a baby. A lot of fucking situations. And frankly, I also know that anybody that carries a baby long enough is going to grow attached to that pregnancy and is not going to want to get it aborted. So this boogeyman of late-term abortions is not a real thing. The only time a late-term abortion happens is when somebody's life is endangered by the pregnancy and their medical professionals overseeing them decide that they need to abort at that late stage to save their life. As far as the trans thing, people being trans is not eugenics. I don't know where you got that from. I don't know where that idea comes from. Plenty of trans people are parents. It's just that we're all invisible because we're trans parents. Get it? Get it? I got that one from Casey. World Unknown here in the chat. Anyway, so, you know. But no, there are plenty of trans people that are parents. There are plenty of trans people that have kids after they come out as trans. So I don't know how that could possibly be eugenics. And as far as Gaza goes, I am fully in support of a two-state solution after some kind of period of enforced peace through a coalition of Western nations enforcing peace in this region. Israeli disarmament, Hamas disarmament, until these two groups can learn to live in peace. The Israeli government has to be stopped from genociding the Gazan people. So I don't know, is that anti-eugenics enough for you? Shut up. Don't ever tell me to shut up. I don't shut up for nobody. Not you, not my mom, not an alien if it came down, not God if he appeared before me, not the President of the United States if he gave me a call. I don't even believe in God or hell, but this man/thing is definitely going there if it's real. You don't even believe in hell, and yet you're trying to use it as a rhetorical bludgeon. You're dumb as shit. I don't even need to ennoble that with a proper response. So what are your thoughts on reversible hormone therapy for adolescents? I mean, you say it's reversible in quotes, but it is reversible. So I don't know what your problem is with it. I don't know what anybody's problem is with it. Frankly, the results have shown that the medical outcomes are better if people are allowed that treatment than if they are not. What is the evidence for a woman having a pines? What is the evidence for a woman having a pines? Okay, once again, look up Mayo Clinic transgenderism, and you will be able to read like a 19-page long write-up that they did on gender dysphoria and trans issues, HRT, and every aspect of being trans. And it's a really informative document, and it's written so that it can be read easily by somebody in our position, somebody that's a medical layperson, somebody who's not trained medically. So go look that up and educate yourself. It is really fucking... I'm not even trying to be rude. I'm just trying to tell you, like, there are resources out there that are going to be way better at explaining all of the finer points than even I'm going to be. because I'm not going to explain it from a clinician's standpoint. I'm not going to explain it like a medical educator, because I'm not. Fix your brain. This is me fixing my brain. Were you born in the wrong body, in your opinion? Yeah, basically. I mean, that's one way to put it. I feel like it's kind of a clumsy way to put it, but yeah, that's one way to put it for sure. I would say I feel like something got mismatched when it was cooking up, and it left me with a like I don't know, a female brain and a male body, I guess. And the great effort of my life has been to correct that, to reconcile that. There's no mods in the chat, so I'm just gonna do some housekeeping real quick. Let's see here. For real, I hope you are right. Much love. Yeah, I'm great. I'm wonderful. I'm amazing. Do you believe in gender, the philosophy? I'm not a philosophy nerd. Like, I'll be real with you. I believe in gender, the psychological concept that you can see observed in regular society. As far as gender, like the concept that has been debated by a million philosophers, I mean, I guess I am one of those philosophers at this point, but I'm not going to lie to you and say I've read fucking, oh, what's his name? Foucault, you know? I'm not going to lie to you and say I've read fucking John Money. You know, I'm not going to lie to you and say I've read any of these fucking philosophers that had lofty things to say about the concept of gender. Like I said, I'm familiar with the concept as it exists clearly, just based on observing society, just based on being a person who's grown up in an incredibly gendered society. You need to go outside more. I will be honest with you guys, these lights do not do kind things to my complexion. I mean, I've always been kind of pale, but I go out more than you'd expect based on the perception of my complexion that you get from these super white lights. I'm not hating you. I'm trying to help you. You seem like a chill person. I don't want you to be lost without God when he comes back. If a Christian hates you, they're not Christian, really. I don't believe in God, and you are never going to demonstrate evidence that he exists. You are never going to be able to demonstrate evidence that he exists that I will not be able to refute with something that's just objectively in reality, something that's provable, repeatable, etc. That's the problem. By the way, I'm just going to pimp it real quick again. Consider hitting that like button if you haven't hit it already. It really does help the channel. It really does help the stream, especially. Every single time you hit that like button is another chance to send the stream out to even more people, which increases the quality of your viewing, push by increasing the number of people to engage in the chat. So please do that now if you haven't done so already. It really does help, and I really deeply appreciate every single like I get. I try to work hard for those likes. Also, consider sending a super chat or a Cash App donation. My Cash App is in my channel description. I can use Cash Apps immediately, so they're just a little bit more convenient. But super chats are also super welcome because those are, those get taxes paid on them, everything automatically, and the YouTube takes their cut and everything. So yeah. I'll go back to New Zealand if I had a son. I don't want my son to have a them's BFF, not gonna lie. What makes you think there aren't trans people in New Zealand, friend? I happen to know some trans people from New Zealand. What evidence would you want? I can help. Something in reality that was changed because because somebody invoked God. Something, and I would want it to be something you could measure and repeat. So, like, here's a perfect example of a setup. If you could, if a priest or something could go with me to a random spot in the desert or out in the woods or something with just their clothes on, just their shoes and nothing else, no cell phones, no nothing, Nothing that they could possibly manipulate anything with. And they could get God to lift a rock up. And I would have to have a phone to record it. But if I could record that rock being lifted up by the power of God and then dropped, and lifted up by the power of God and then dropped, and repeat that 4 or 5 times, okay, maybe there's a God out there. It would, but I'm not saying that's the only setup that would work. I'm just saying that you would need something repeatable, testable. That's the scientific basis, you know? That's a scientific process. Okay, now we're just yapping. Well, yeah, that's all we do on this channel is yap. You clowns think that God is some sort of magician. Well, no, I just think that like you guys describe him as the like ultimate power in the universe. You guys describe him as all powerful. I'm just literally listen. I am just holding God to the standards that you guys have set for him. You guys say he can do anything. I have 3 pieces of Evid for God's existence. Evid? Huh? Honestly, Troy, I want you to explain what you're talking about because I am fascinated by Christians who are really, really convicted of their philosophy. Really. I really do like Christians with conviction. I like you guys. I do not like fake ass Christians who just want to use their Christianity as a prop for their bigotry. But I am fascinated by Christians who legitimately believe in it and have kooky reasons for believing in it. Well, what I consider kooky. I understand they're not kooky to you, okay? I'm just saying. I would love for you to expound on that more if you're willing, despite my rudeness. I'm 13, and how do I understand all this and still not judging, and all of you adults are judging like this, but what's wrong with you guys? Well, that's because, like, you, and even me, you know, I'm obviously much older, but we both represent, like, a younger generation of people who were brought up under a different set of standards, and a lot of people that are commenting on this, like, my demographics lean towards middle-aged to older people, and a lot of people that end up watching these streams and hanging out are people that have never met a trans person, have only ever made fun of trans people, who see trans people as the butt of every joke, and have not been really taught to, you know, see trans people as human. In fact, they've been taught by the people that they listen to, the people they watch, etc., to see trans people as inhuman. They don't seem to recognize that all the lessons that they taught people like you, people like me, as kids, all those lessons were listened to. When they told us not to judge other people, we listened. When they told us not to worry about what somebody else is doing unless it's hurting you, we listened. They didn't. And that's why younger people feel increasingly more left behind by the older generations. One of the reasons why, at least. Let's see, I got another super chat. I hate it when Christians say God can do anything. Okay, well, fair enough, Troy. At least you're standing behind your fucking convictions and shit. So what would you say, Troy? Like, what would you say, Troy? Do you think God is limited in his power, or is he unlimited in his power but limited in his will? Like, I don't know. You sound, Troy, like you might actually have an interesting fucking theology. So if you want to continue donating to talk, I'm perfectly fine with it. If you want to type in the chat, that works too. I'll try and keep an eye out for comments. I hate when the adults say, "All your kids, you don't know." Yeah. We don't know shit because we can't know shit, Sophie. That's the problem. We can't know shit because if we know shit, then that means that they're wrong. If we know shit and we're repeating the same things that a lot of scientists are saying, that a lot of medical professionals are saying, that a lot of climate scientists are saying, whatever issue it is we're talking about, if we are basically, you know, pointing out the truth of the fucking universe to them, that means that they're wrong. So we necessarily have to be wrong because that's the only way that they can be right. It's all about the defense of their egos. It's all about the defense of them as the idea of a thinking person. No, honey, it's okay. You're trying to be nice, but all of them are idiots just saying, oh yeah, 100%. One of my pieces of Evid shows God has limits. Oh, neat. Okay. So what is Evid? What is Evid? Can you tell me what is Evid? Also, admit your example. It's kind of silly. Let's say you were permanently in a wheelchair. The number one doctor who cares about you is unable to do that. Does that disregard the doctor's works? No. No. Well, that's why I said that that's not the only valid example, because I recognize that that's obviously, like, that might be. Here's the thing. I'm willing to give Christians this much, okay? When it comes to the rhetoric of the argument, I'm willing to grant you guys that God's will probably precludes him from doing magic tricks, okay? That's why I specified that that's not the only possible way it can be done, but there would have to be some testable, measurable way. There are plenty of ways to do that wouldn't be a magic trick, you know. For example, if there was some priest that through some kind of purification ritual was able to start going to hospitals, and every single time he prays for a patient's health, they start to get better. Or even if it was like 99 out of 100 times, let's just say God doesn't do it to the bad people or whatever. Even if it was 99 out of 100 times, at some point you would have to wonder, right? I would, you know, if I was the person taking the data in that experiment, and 99 out of 100 patients that the priest prayed for got better, um, provided all other things were equal and they were, likely to not get better, then I would consider that miraculous. I don't know. But that's never happened. Every time you look into a story like that, there's no fucking verisimilitude to it. Evidence. Big Bang argument will be used. Okay. Okay. All right, Troy. You've got me fucking interested. I'll tell you that much. You keep teasing me, but at this point, I feel a bit like a girl that's been strapped to a chair and is getting like teased by a feather. Like, please, come on, just you know, let me get one already. Oink 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 oink. Why do I have a feeling that's one of Kid Wizard's alts? If y'all hate me for defending her, fine, hate me. Hate me all you want. I don't care. I don't give them. Yeah, that's the thing. We don't give a fuck. Self-actualized people, confident people, we don't give a shit. In fact, a lot of us thrive on your hatred. I eat it. I eat it up. I eat it up like that McDonald's I ate earlier. Well, it's better than being in Mississippi, right? I hope you're enjoying some good dining out. It's been all right. We went to a Vietnamese place earlier, and I didn't really know what to get, so I got something. And y'all, man, that was the most gristliest meat I ever fucking ate in my life. I will be real with you guys. I ate what I could of it, but it was chewy and fucking. It was just not very good. It was all right, but it was not very good. The salad was all right, and the weird little salad dressing they included with it was all right, but the rest of it was, you know, eh. Well, we've had some chain restaurants too, and those have been okay. What I'm hoping for before this trip ends is to get some Indian food. So if you want to help me get some Indian food, consider contributing to my Cash App, because I can use that immediately. The Big Bang shows the universe has a cause. We have four options. We have four options for the causes. Now I only cover three in detail. Point will be made in next chat. Okay, okay, Troy. Cool, cool. I'm following you so far. Thank you for your generosity tonight, by the way. If I had to guess the four options, two come to mind immediately. If we're going to accept that the Big Bang necessarily has to have causality, which I don't think it necessarily does, but because I think it could be an infinitely repeating process of expansion and contraction, like a heartbeat, like a universal heartbeat or something like that. Maybe there's some kind of progenitor of it. Maybe it just has been going on forever. I know the human mind has a hard time looping its mind around that, but that's just a consequence of our concept of life and death, my friend. And this is going to be a really interesting conversation regardless. But the options I see are: number one, there could be a God. Like I said, in this, if we're going to accept causality, it has to be a part of the Big Bang. Number one, there could be a God. Number two, there could be a simulation. So there could be some greater being in some other world that has created a simulation that we all live in. Three, uh, Flew out of a unicorn's ass? I really don't know. You got me stumped. I'm thrilled to hear. I'm thrilled to hear the explanation for this. Hey, you. Who are you? I argue it's more reasonable for a living God. Maybe. My name is you? Mm-hmm. Your name is not you. Who are you? Hi, Sophie. Yes, I did grow up in a religious household. Well, kinda. My grandma went to church. My parents did not. 4 options: living God, unliving God, language. Okay, interesting. This is gonna, dude. What did I tell you guys about Christians and their fascinating philosophies? The coolest Christians to talk to are the ones that are that have the wildest fucking theologies. The people who actually think about Christianity, people who actually think about religion and put thought to this shit and really give weight to it, man, I love talking to them because they have fascinating ideas. I don't know if it's true, but it's interesting. Or nothing creating something. Yeah. I mean, all of this, you realize, Troy, I just want to say, like, I'm not trying to stifle your argument. I'm not trying to stop you or anything, but all of this is predicated on the idea. We have to presuppose that that the Big Bang had to have a cause, that it's not some cyclically repeating process or something that just initiated out of some previous universe or something like that. Would you say that growing up religious is the reason you refuse to acknowledge that you are in fact a homosexual male? No, because I'm not homosexual. I'm not a man. I might be male in the sense that I was assigned male at birth, but I'm not a man. I haven't lived as a man in over 5.5 years. As far as homosexuality goes, I am attracted to both men and women, and I'm pretty open about it. Did you hear Loose Cunt got elected for vice chairman? Yes. You're so funny, you're so clever. Ha ha ha. The doctor who delivered you enters the chat. The doctor who delivered me would probably agree that I'm like valid as a trans person, considering the vast majority of medical professionals agree with the validity of trans identities. So you're doing the presupposition. Are you saying the universe is eternal? I'm saying I don't know. I'm saying that assuming the universe has a cause is a presupposition. Hi, Snowsat. Did you sign up for selective service? Yes, like every other person born with a penis is required to do. If called up, I would be refused, you realize, because Donald Trump doesn't allow trans people in his unqueer military. Be whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't affect my life. Be you, sis. That's how I feel. It's not if it has a start predicated by scientists, so that in itself shows it's not a presupposition. Yes, it is. Just because the universe had a beginning doesn't necessarily mean it had a cause, so to speak. I mean, it might have had a cause, but it might be entirely physical. It might be that the natural consequence of entropy, like because um, the universe expands, 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 and then contracts, right? And as it contracts, that's the heat death of the universe. Um, that's destruction, and it may be the case that as the universe shrinks and comes back to a point, then it just, you know, for whatever reason, restarts. I don't know. But presupposing that it has some kind of divine cause, that is definitely a presupposition. But I think I think it's a presupposition in general to think that the universe had to have a cause. I don't know why this is controversial. Imagine if God didn't create humans, then God wouldn't exist. Yeah, that's interesting to think about. Also, if God did decide to lift a rock in front of everyone, then everyone would know he's real, which would cause Satan and the demons to show themselves, which would mean God comes back and we won't be ready. Why does any of this matter, Silva? Can you tell me that? Why would a perfectly just, reasonable God with, humanity's fucking best, like, why would a God that has our best interests at heart, why would it do that? Like, why would it create this hullabaloo? Why would it set us up for this, like, crazy thing? Real quick, what? How would that happen? Wait, what's going on? Hold on, let me read fan funding. Language or nothing creating something. If the Big Bang was caused by a by a different universe, then how would that happen? The only CERN, the only well, okay, I'm not sure. We'll have to see what he says next. We wouldn't be alive if God didn't exist. There's no evidence for God. As far as we know, humans arose out of the process of evolution. The contingencies around service is clearly defined for each mother and son. Some people are born with multiple organs and are defined by medics. Huh? I wonder who you really is. I just want them to admit whoever they are. I wonder who this person who keeps getting banned is. I Part of me does wish Troy, like, if he's just gonna donate like endless amounts of money anyway, why doesn't he just like, I don't know. I'm not trying to tell Troy that I don't appreciate the $2. I really do. But it just seems to me like it might be more savings tax wise and everything. Although I don't know. Do you get charged tax on super chats? I don't remember. But point is, if it just seems to me like it'd be cheaper to do it with like a $50 super chat and just write the whole sentence out. But I don't know. I don't know how much he's planning on spending tonight. The only scenario I think of is universe inside of a. Okay, I'm keeping track so far. Universe, BRB in 4 minutes. Okay, cool. Situation, individual. Situation, individual. Situation, individual. This is hell. Earth is hell. Look at all the demons in this chat. I know, dude. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Christy and Sophie, for being so fucking nice. You guys have been fucking cool. I'm from Korea. My name is actually you. Your statement was racist. You're not kidding, right? Okay, chat. I will listen to you guys' input for once on this. Okay, am I being racist? Somebody that I trust, go look it up. Is you a name in Korea? And if it is, how do I properly pronounce it? Because if it is, whatever. I was wrong then. Oh no. He gives free will. Let's say your parents decide to lock you in a house and says you need to love me. Would that be loving? No, he allows us to live free, but if we sin in a way, he can't help. I don't think you're getting the point. The point is, why did he need praise and worship in the first place? Why, why on earth? But here's the thing. Here's the thing you don't seem to understand. God is the one who sets our morality, right? God determines what is right or wrong. God is the one who according to you guys, God is the one who determines all these things. So, if God decided to create a world where we were effectively locked into the planet and had to love him, then that would just be the case. We wouldn't know any better. How would we know any better? If that's what he created us to do, and he's God, and you guys are presupposing that he exists, then, I don't get it. I'm giving educational shots, but you can explain to me why we can't accept each other the way we are. Yeah, dude, nobody can explain to you that way, because nobody has a good argument for it. If you were on a sinking ship and they said women and children first, would you go? I would never be on a sinking ship because I would never be on a ship. No, that's a joke. I don't know. Probably not, but I probably wouldn't even if I actually if I was a cis woman, I don't think I would. You know? If I was a cis woman, I don't think I would, merely because I don't want to inconvenience somebody else. I don't want to trade my life for somebody else's. No, fuck that. I'll swim. I'll cling to the side. How about that? Let some other girl in the boat first. Let them all fill up, and then as the boat goes down, just I'll toss a line to somebody. As the boat goes down, I'll start to float, and I'll just cling onto the line and draw myself into the boat. Well, not into the boat, but onto the side. I'll just sit there and bob. I appreciate you pondering the question. I mean, I think it's a silly question, but I don't mind pondering it. I'll give more reasons for why the BB shows a cause. Okay, cool. I'd love to hear him, Troy. Yeah. Go on. Please do demonstrate. Do you show gratitude to your parents for what they've done for you, their love, giving you a home, etc., praying that's the only way to communicate, and as a way of showing thank you for his love? The love of God doesn't really show through in a lot of people's lives. I don't know. People's material conditions are largely what determine their quality of life, and a lot of people's quality of life reflects some pretty poor material conditions. I don't think you should thank your parents if all they did was bring you into the world. If your parents were a couple of crack hoes that brought you into the world addicted to crack and in a horrible house that wasn't fit to live in, and and abused you your whole life, then yeah, no, I don't think you should thank them. I don't think you should love them. I think it's pretty normal to reject them. So explain to me why is so hard about accepting each other the way we are. Are you talking to me, Sophie? Why would you care about that? You're more disparaged by being trans, right? What do you mean? Care about what? That vape is melting your synapses. No, I'm just looking for interesting chats, really. Better pick one of these 16 comments. Well, I'm not picking yours. Where's the cabal of elites trying to round you up? Did I ever say there was a cabal of elites trying to round me up? The crackhead abusive mother to hate? I was using that as an example of why a parent might be a shitty person and not somebody to look up to. I'm not sure how that correlates in any way to me being trans. I'm sorry. My father was Russian and my mother was my mom Korean. My last name is Slavic and my first is just the word you. Okay, well, hey, fair enough, you. I'm sorry. I apologize. You were saying some troll shit earlier, though, and so I just assumed it was a troll name. My bad. I apologize. I don't think trans folks are targeted any more than any other type of folks. I mean, I can understand why it can be hard to see that, but I feel like I'm trying to think of a good example of well, I don't know. Some people are more convinced by anecdotal evidence, some people are more convinced by statistics. If you want to look into the statistics on anti-trans violence over the last 10 years, there has been an uptick. Just as there's been an uptick in trans acceptance, there has been a commensurate uptick in anti-trans violence. Might just be an uptick related to the overall, you know, um, increase of visibility of like the trans identity, or maybe it's something else. But you know, um, the other thing I would point you to is the various Reddit pages where you can see people freaking out at trans people for ostensibly no reason. Okay, I got a better example. Let's say your friend, partner, whatever it may be, hurts you verbally, ditches you, lives against you, and making you feel terrible every time. Would you help if they asked? Lives against you. See, that's where you slip in the Christian premise, right? Because like hurts you verbally, ditches you. Okay. So hurts you verbally. Number one, I don't think that I say anything hateful, really, about the Christian God. And I think the things I do say about the Christian God are things I would say about a friend if I knew a friend with the awful qualities of the Christian God. And I would expect that friend not to be insulted, but rather to want to talk to me about it. Number two, um, ditches you. According to you guys, we can't ditch God. He's with us whether we want him to be or not. Lives against you. I don't care how another friend lives. You can live like I do or completely the opposite the way I do. I don't give a fuck. In fact, I probably like you more if you live the opposite way I do. Um, Making you feel terrible every time. Like, how can you're saying that humans make God feel terrible? That just doesn't sound right to me. God is God. He's in control of his own emotions. If he's in control of anything, he should be in control of his own emotions. So, if I was God, yes, I would still help people because I created them. If they're pissed at me, it's because there's a deficit in the world I've created for them. Yes, I would help them. We should accept who we are. We can't change fact, science. We can be fine with expression as choice, however, which comes from our perspective of identity and expression of it. Random Rachel, you just need to look up trans identities at the Mayo Clinic. You will be so much better informed and you will feel so much better because you're not going to be spreading disinformation. Since Big Bang happened, what caused it isn't an unreasonable question because an expansion doesn't happen for no reason. Saying if I said, well, okay, here, let's see the rest of Troy's argument. My thing is like, My thing is like, I'm not saying it didn't have like it happened for no reason. I guess like it's hard to talk about, right? Cause implies intention, but or at least I think of cause implying intention. Maybe it doesn't actually imply intention, but when I think of cause, I think of intention, and I don't think there was any intent behind the Big Bang. I think that it might just be a consequence of some predetermined process that's just been, endlessly repeating forever. Who knows? And I think that if that is the case, and I think that that's a likely case, then there's no way to know if there is a creator. Because evidently the universe that was created or not created, whatever happened to it, it, you know, fucking expands and contracts endlessly, rebuilding and deleting itself forever. Excuse me. I'm a hetero-flexible Republican that sides more with Democratic side, but I know the history and will never support the Democratic Party. Just slave owners over there. Well, I don't blame you. I can't say that I blame you. I'm not a Dem either. I do like that they're standing up for the Affordable Care Act subsidies right now. I do like that. Look, all I'm saying is if we can stop judging and just help each other, that's what we should be doing, Sophie. But man, that is an unpopular viewpoint for a lot of people right now. A lot of people just want to see each other burn, dude. Being trans is real. This thing is a grift. I've been trans for 5.5 years. Long before I was making money on YouTube, I was living as a woman. And the first mistake is supporting either Democrat or Republican, two sides of the same evil coin. Oh, I agree. Yeah. Like, I'm willing to admit when I'm happy with the Democrats doing something, but if it was the Republicans doing something I liked, I wouldn't have any problem, being like, yeah, good on them. I think I think that is just one of the ways that you reinforce good behavior in future politicians. Unfortunately, I was judged for spreading misinformation, Sophie. I've been respectful. I've asked questions, and it's a division. I mean, yeah, I think you are spreading misinformation. Like, I can defend that if you'd like me to. Look at that explosion. That always existed. Or, whoa, that happened for no reason. A cause is something that decided. A cause is something that creates an effect. Well, so by definition, an expansion is an effect. I get what you're saying, Troy, but the Big Bang isn't literally an explosion. It's an expansion of matter and energy. It was a massive expansion of matter and energy that's likened to an explosion, but it really kind of defies our current laws and understanding of physics. A friend's dad told me Trump had no new wars. I've heard this before. Is it true? As far as I know, it is, but it misses the point because Trump is a terrible diplomat. Dude has some extremely hawkish rhetoric. No, Trump at this point is incredibly hawkish towards Venezuela. He's already destroyed a number of boats that were pretty much confirmed to be fishing boats. So he has already acted in a warlike capacity in Venezuela, and he's currently talking about launching a ground invasion. They're not ruling it out. They're positioning all kinds of carriers and military equipment and material over in that way so that it can be deployed there if needed. So, no, Trump is actively trying to start a war with Venezuela to secure gold and oil rights in Venezuela. Only 5 years? How old are you? 27. You're right. The BB is not an explosion. Is used. Yeah. I think you're gonna make the point I was making. I know. I'm sorry for that. It's just I hate to see people get bullied or judged, especially based on their gender or sexuality. It's not fair to me. Well, that's the thing. Is like she is objectively spreading misinformation. Like if you're saying trans identities are not valid, I'm sorry. That's just like medically untrue. Trans people are accepted by the vast majority of the medical community. The science is on our side. The math is on our side. History is on our side. On their side, J.K. Rowling, Ben Shapiro, and a host of other right-wing demagogues and grifters. Why didn't you transition earlier? Because I was raised in the Deep South, and then I moved to the Midwest. And it really was not until I turned 21 that the Midwest felt like a safe place for me to come out. Bullying not okay, but people are allowed to judge. I really don't care if people judge. I mean, people are going to judge no matter what I say or do. My mom is from the Deep South. You don't sound like you're from the South. That's because when I was 14, my parents divorced. I moved up with my mom to live in Missouri, and people made fun of me intensely for my accent. And you'll still hear it come out every so often, though. I'm not gonna like do it on cue or anything, but every so often there'll be a certain word or phrase that I say that comes out with a bit of a drawl to it, even to this day, despite my self-driven vocal training to not do that. Actually, you judging and bullying, like, there's literally no difference. You're judging, but then when you're judging, you're also bullying. Yeah, pretty much. The conversation gets shut down, Sophie. I hate that too. Explain the science, but it's not explained. It's attacked and called misinformation, so the dialogue is closed. Discussion isn't judgmental. So, Rachel. Okay, so Rachel, are you under the misapprehension that when trans people come out as trans, we're under the impression that our genitals start morphing? Are you under the impression that trans people don't believe in the medical distinction between male and female bodies? You probably believe you can get a entertain the options. Okay, let me go through your chats all together. Come on, people now. Smile all together. I love one another right now. So we got four options for how the universe might have started if we assume that it had to have had a cause. Living God, unliving God, language, or nothing created something. If the Big Bang was caused by a different universe, then how would that happen? The only scenario I can think of is a universe inside of a universe. I'll give more reasons for why the Big Bang shows a cause. Since the Big Bang happened, what caused it isn't an unreasonable question because an expansion doesn't happen for no reason. Saying if I said, wow, look at that explosion, that always existed, or whoa, that happened for no reason. A cause is something that creates an effect. So by definition, an expansion is an effect. You're right that Big Bang is not an explosion. It's used as an analogy. Expansion is an effect, so I plead you to research on effects. I really hope this helps you. I hope you don't mind. I entertain the options. So I kind of get what you're saying more when you say it had to have a cause, right? But a cause can be as simple as a like a physical reaction. It can be as simple as a physics problem, right? And that's what I'm postulating is the case with the Big Bang. That merely because it might have had a cause, according to the literal sense of the word, merely because something might have happened before the Big Bang that led to the Big Bang, doesn't mean that that thing was in any way divine. And those four options that you listed are kind of crazy to me, honestly. The unliving God thing, like uh, that one just seems superfluous. It's like to me, you cover that option when you say that a God might have created the universe. That, like, to say a God created the universe says nothing as to whether the God is living or dead. So I feel like you cover that basis just by saying God might have created it. Something from nothing. I feel like that that's not suggesting the universe had a cause. That's suggesting the universe had no cause. That's suggesting the universe had absolutely no cause. And you didn't even cover simulation theory. So, in my mind, Your theories are kind of I feel like I'm not gonna say they need work, but I think they need expansion. Do you have any theories for how the universe did come about? I'm pretty sure the widely accepted theory is the Big Bang, and that's what I go with. You lost your hamster on the floor? No. Oh my goodness. You know what you need to do? Crinkle up his food bag. I guarantee you. I don't know. That works with cats and dogs. It probably doesn't work with hamsters. Sorry, not dead. Inanimate. Sorry, not biological. You've got to explain that whole distinction. The unalive God. What can you explain that? I gotta know. That is fascinating to me. Inanimate God. Okay, I gotta know. What are the God theories involved in that thing you were saying? No, absolutely not. But you have told me you are a woman and a mother. My body is why I am those things. Not my feelings about it. I was respectful, but I'm not. I'm met with insults. So good luck, Sophie. I don't know. I don't feel like saying that you're spreading misinformation is an insult. I feel like it's just an objective assessment of the things that you've been saying in chat. And honestly, Rachel, I don't think that you. I don't believe that you actually feel that way, Rachel. I'm just saying. Your breasts and your vagina and your uterus are not what makes you a mother, or at least those are not the things that are valuable to you being a mother insofar as your children are concerned. What makes you valuable as a mother to your children is you as a warm, comforting presence. You as someone who cooks them really good meals. You as someone who helps them get their laundry done or helps them do their homework. You as a person who is loving and nurturing. Those are the things they value about you. It's not your breasts. It's not the fact that you have a vagina or a uterus. It's not your body and the particular way it looks. It's the fact that you love them and care about them and cook for them and clean for them and help them do those things for themselves as they get older. What makes you a woman? My unrelenting need to talk no matter how many people want to hear me shut up. In the 1800s, you had to have a biological woman around if you had a baby, or else the baby would starve. Not necessarily true. There have been homebrew recipes for formula for decades, ages, centuries. They're not, they're not the best thing in the world. They're not recommended. You shouldn't use them, but they're out there. So people have been, figuring out ways to feed babies without an actual titty for a while now. I will tie the origins to what philosophical positions are usually associated. Wait, what now? What's going on, Troy? Sorry, that was oversimplified. Okay. An unliving God has no mind. Living God has a mind. Okay. Well, Troy, so what do you think of the unliving God position? Because I'm willing to accept something like that. I'm willing to accept some kind of divine force that's not understandable because it doesn't have a mind. That like I'm willing to accept that because there is some weird shit about the universe that we don't quite understand. Maybe that's it, you know? So what do you think about that? Because I don't feel like that idea is compatible with Christianity in the fucking slightest. Christianity describes an active God. I'm not a mother. I'm just a teen who identifies as a woman and a woman, but I respect LGBTQ plus people. Yeah, like that's the thing. You don't have to be a mom to like speak affirmatively for mothers or to speak in fucking favor of trans people or whatever. If you believe in the simulation theory, that's similar to how God is. We're in his simulation and he guides us the best he can, but sometimes there's viruses who make it hard for him. So really, why is the simulation theory easier to believe than God who loves us and just wants the best for us? Well, in um, in my mind, there are no demons, so there are no viruses in the simulation. I don't know. The demons are probably things that you would identify as um, corrupt aspects of our society or whatever, but there are probably things that I would identify as features, not bugs. Things like drug usage, you know. I don't think that's a demon. I think that's a privilege. There is a book that describes God as a virus in the context of simulation theory. Ooh, interesting. See, but any kind of explanation or theorization about simulation theory that puts too much emphasis on human beings specifically, I'm always wary of it. I'm always wary of it because who's to say that the human beings are the most interesting thing on the planet to whatever, like I'm sure we are part of the interesting thing about this planet, but there's so many other beautiful things on this planet. Why would we not assume that some of them have primacy as well? Okay, you're correct about that. Now, the language options is almost similar to the unliving God, nearly like simulation. I will entertain an unliving God real quick. Okay, cool. Cool, Troy. By the way, I just want to say thank you so much for your generosity tonight, Troy. We have almost gotten to $67, and that is, or we've gotten to $67, and that is squarely on the back of you, pretty much. If anybody else wants to super chat, consider doing so. I also accept donations to my Cash App, which is on my channel description, and I appreciate those a lot. Maybe in 2 minutes. Okay. Well, I'm not going to be around much longer, but I can let you go for a couple minutes. For the last time, she's a woman. Don't worry, Sophia. You don't even have to respond to them, honestly. They'll keep on begging for my attention until they eventually get it or don't, and then they'll move on. But I appreciate you, Sophie. I shouldn't be asking, is this a simulation? You should be asking, why would they want to put me in a simulation? What's special about me? What? Which the answer is nothing because you're not in a simulation. That's just stupid. It's not like they spend any time formulating me in particular. The thing about simulation theory is that a true adherent to simulation theory believes that they created the world according to science. That it's so good a simulation that we have no way of telling the difference. That evolution, stimulated evolution happened, and that's one of the reasons why simulation theory is interesting, right? Because it provides a potential explanation for the Big Bang. It's like, well, the Big Bang was the power on moment for the device that runs our program. Are we in the Matrix? Are we? You tell me. Hi, Granny. Hi. Hi, grandson. Male and female organs are incompatible. Chromosomes facilitate appropriate hormone levels. I think you need to look into chromosomal abnormalities and hormonal abnormalities too. Oh man, humans are diverse. We're diverse fucking creatures. Really. When you say the organs are incompatible, what do you mean they're incompatible? So the unliving God goes into deism, which is a philosophical position that the God is non-personal. To my knowledge, 3 types of deists. Oh boy, this is getting complicated as shit, Troy. I love it, but I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do it. We're not talking about abnormalities? Yes, we are. Trans people make up 0.6% of the population, bro. We are an abnormality. Now, dude, like, I don't attribute any negative connotation to that, but yeah, we're not like, we're like a non-standard issue of human being. They are incompatible. They will not work. They will fail. What do you? I don't know what you think it means, because what do you mean they're incompatible? What do you? I literally don't know what you mean. Like, do you mean like if like you can't like? Are you saying that because they haven't figured out a way to transplant a penis onto a trans man, that means that trans people are invalid? Is that the math in your fucking? Is that the math in your head? Science is complicated for small brains. You're explaining a scientific concept in the worst way I've ever heard one explained. Oh, Lord. Well, I'm glad you found the hamster. That's good. That's good. Chelsea K, can I just ask you something? Have you actually read anything about the science behind trans people, gender dysphoria, or any of the related concepts, Chelsea? Where's Grandpa Hennessy? Grandpa Hennessy, bro. He doesn't drink Hennessy as far as I know. Um, but he's out dashing. If God is all powerful like we believe, how could you expect to understand how he created us? It's beyond us. That's what he means by having faith. I mean, that's a fair point, but every Christian has their pet theory. Dude, YouTube is fucked up right now. I do not have just 2 viewers. There's no way. There's no way I just have 2 viewers. You can express what you want to express, but your sex will be the same. I mean, I thought you were so big brained. Like, I thought you were so big brained, Chelsea. Are you so big brained you can't read a fucking scientific document? Are you so big brained you can't read a scientific document that's meant to be understood by lay people? Stream's having connection problems? Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay. Did you see the 3 DS types? Let me check your chat history and I'll be able to read it. DS for living God. DS for non-living God. DS agnostic hasn't decided whether God is living or not. Okay, how to entertain a non-living God. Yes, I saw the 3 DS types. Yeah, okay, I get the idea, I think. But I don't think you could be a deist and believe in the living God as you've defined it. I love the working lolcow, like the paid fool. They carry on and aren't discarded. The natural fool is like a Daniel Larson. Granny is a starting paid fool. I mean, I've been getting paid for a while now. I mean, I guess I'm still starting, yeah. But we don't have to do this. We were just bored. True. More than you could ever imagine. Countless articles on other fringe groups as well. Okay. Articles? I didn't say anything about articles. I read if you'd read any scientific documents about trans people. Also done a lot of research on Down syndrome and autism as well to broaden my understanding of abnormalities. Well, it sounds to me like you've done a lot of fucking research and have decided to just discard any of it that is in support of trans people because you personally cannot conceive of how it could be real. Did I say anything about fringe? I didn't even comment on that. I didn't say anything about fringe. I what I specifically said was that you need to look at some fucking scientific documents surrounding trans people, gender dysphoria as a concept, etc., etc. I told you what I've read. You said you've read. Okay, you told me what you've read. You said you read more than I could ever imagine. Countless articles on other friend groups as well. Articles is not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a write-up in BuzzFeed News. I'm talking about the Mayo Clinic's write-up on gender dysphoria and trans people. I'm talking about any of the many different clinics with write-ups available online describing the scientific basis for these things. You having a bachelor's degree does not make you some kind of expert on transgenderism. Would you like to direct me? Yeah, I'll direct you to a textbook, the DSM-5. Tell you all about it. Look at the DSM-5's article on gender dysphoria. Sure. Great place to start. Courtney's playing good cop. Phoebe, Chelsea's really not that bad. We're sisters, and we've been to college, but we generally suck. I mean, I don't think you guys suck. I just think Chelsea's really digging her heels in on this topic, and I'm just like not like whatever. When it comes to this shit, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna trust the experts. I'm gonna trust the various medical clinics across the country and across the planet that have put out not articles, but actual fucking write-ups, big, long, explanatory. I guess you could call them articles, but when I think article, I think like a BuzzFeed article or a, Medium article or something like that. And I'm not talking about blog posts. I'm talking about a doctor sat down and wrote some shit out so that people could understand the scientific basis of this, that, or the other thing. And when I go and look at the science behind trans people, it seems pretty fucking solid to me. It doesn't seem like I'm part of some kind of like I guess I'm part of a fringe minority in the sense that we're a very small part of the overall population, but it's not fringe in the sense of being kooky. It's well established in science. It's well researched. It's well documented, and like, I don't know, I'm going to trust them over anybody on the internet, and I'm going to point them towards those resources if they argue with me, no matter how much they try to flaunt their education, because somehow they went through their entire education and missed a lesson about how trans people are real. My degree is in business finance. We were trying to improve our communities like you and encounter similar issues like you. Yeah, I mean, I'm just out here talking bullshit, you know. Um, Ultimately, I don't know if I'm right about any of the things that I say, but I like to argue. I like to have conversations, and I do care, like you said, about improving my community and bringing forth better ideas and bringing my ideas to the world, seeing if they can be useful in any way to other people. Well, I'm sure I can't just as much as you can't. Cannot conceive what it means to be black. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I have posted the entertained possibility of non. You gotta look at Troy's channel activity of a non-living god. Okay, you're right. It's more common for deists to believe in a non-living god. The unliving god can be an uncaused cause, but the reason why the unliving god can be an uncaused is because it is existence itself. See, existence itself isn't caused because if it was caused, it will fail because there's nothing before existence. So the unliving God can be existence itself and create objects randomly both outside this universe and inside this universe. Okay. I posted the entertained possibility of non living God. Yeah, dude, I will tell you, Troy, the concept you've just laid out before me, the non-living God thing, sounds pretty much like what I believe. I think that it's impossible to tell what created the universe, and that as near as we could tell, there's just existence, that everything is just here, and that this aspect of it just repeats endlessly. BuzzFeed, Associated Press, are you for real? That is a put down for normal people, but not the educated. Would never touch such information with a 10-foot pole. In fact, you're right, but I do know how to unravel the messages in communication. I think you might be on a little bit of a delay. Or maybe I'm on a little bit of a delay. I don't know. I'm not a sir. And I'm wearing moo because they're comfy. This one's cute. It's got Betty Boop on it. Do you ever read through the chat after the streams? Not really. That's the only one all people like you know. Name five. Name five what? Name five what? Name five medical institutions that stand with trans people. Okay. The American Pediatric Association, the American Health Association. I already mentioned the Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins University, um, and its associated hospital. Uh, do, 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 do. Harvard College of Medicine. There you go. I had to rattle off a couple. Are you familiar with JSTOR? No. Not off the top of my head. Sounds vaguely familiar. What I don't get is like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how useful the conversation is going to be, honestly, Chelsea, but I just don't get it. Like, is your argument really that the entire medical establishment is lying about the reality of trans people? Why? To what end? Yeah, Chelsea, you are way behind. Chelsea is so far behind. At what point did you realize you were a woman and not a man? Very, very young. Um, like the first impulses I had towards it would have been when I was like 5 or 6, but um, by the time I was like 12 or 13, I was 100% sure. I just didn't have the language to express it or really talk about it. Before people were able to read, they actually thought that reading rots your mind, because most people were illiterate back then. Treated books like our rents, treated TV. Uh, it was more like a lot of people thought that books could corrupt you in some way. Fringe doesn't mean kooky, it means uncommon or niche, which trans people aren't really. Would you say gay people are a fringe group? No. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I apparently don't I'm not a very good person to ask when it comes to fringe. I don't know what it means. Evidently. Oh, talking to Chelsea. Okay. Even if you don't believe in the idea of God, the concept is real. The fact Christians are nice, loving, caring, and devout Christians. Countries now have low crime rates. Prove is real. That does not prove shit. And Christian countries are not known for having particularly low crime rates either. In fact, it's Muslim countries that are known for having particularly low crime rates because um, well, number one, they underreport their crime, and number two, um, they set up really horrible punishments for anything, any kind of crime. Yeah, like I said, I apparently am not really familiar with the definition of fringe. To me, it has connotations that it doesn't apparently actually have. Oh, I'm gonna have to get off here soon, y'all. I'm getting tired. I'm getting well tired. Damn it. I need one of those stylus things. Sweden has more reported rape cases than Mongolia. Yeah, but people also probably feel more comfortable reporting rape in Sweden than they do Mongolia. I'm not saying that's the whole reason behind it. I'm just saying that probably plays a part, right? Okay, it has been a pleasure debating you. I can't thank you enough. I hope I can show a case for you tomorrow for a living God. Thank you, Phoebe. Good night. Well, thank you, Troy, for your immense generosity tonight. We got us up to $83. If somebody could get us up to 100 with just like $16 and fucking 69 cents, that would be fucking crazy. But Thank you immensely, Troy. I can't thank you enough, honestly, because you've been immensely generous tonight. And it's been fun learning a little bit about your perspective and hearing what you have to say about your theology. I really do find it interesting. I really do find it fascinating. And I look forward to hearing you talk about it tomorrow. You can catch me sometime around midday, probably. I look forward to it. It'll be fun. What's your Snapchat? I don't have a Snapchat. I mean, I do, but I'm not giving it to you. By the way, I know we have different beliefs, but I appreciate it and enjoyed talking with you. I'm glad you didn't see it as an attack. My only intention is to help and make you understand easier. Well, you have to know. It's interesting for me to talk about it, and it's interesting, I think, for other people to talk to me about it. So it's a good topic. You're welcome, friend. Well, good. What a pleasant interaction that was. Most trans I've tried to discuss Christianity with have been aggressive or hating, but I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I'm always willing to discuss it, right? I'm always willing to discuss it because I think that, like, as much as I like pointing out the flaws and the contradictions in the Bible, I try not to be hateful about it. I try not to fuck on Christians merely for being Christians. I really do think the conversation is worth more. Like, even if I did want to convert you, I think the conversation would do more towards that than me hating on you would. I try to debate religious people like I'm talking to children. See, I try not to do that, but sometimes I fall into that. If they're childish enough to believe there's a magical man floating in the sky that created all this, it's an appropriate response. I don't blame you for feeling that way, but I have chosen to usually try and take a different tact. But, who knows? You take the high road and I'll take the low. And I'll be in Dublin for you. Let me know who arrives in Dublin first. But ye and my true love shall never meet again by the bloody banks of Loch Lomond. Red is the rose that in yonder garden grows. Clear is the river in the valley. Clear is the water that flows from the Boyne. But my love is fairer than any. Red is the rose that in yonder garden grows. Fair is the lily of the valley. Clear is the water that flows from the Boyne. But my love is fairer than any. Phoebe has the chords despite soaking so much. I know. How do you think I keep this voice up, kid? No, I do need to cut back for real. I think a lot of the reason why I'm able to still have the chords is because I didn't get started smoking till late, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the fact that I've mostly vaped, not smoked cigarettes. I'm going to head out of here and head all. Good night, Snowset. I do appreciate your ability to keep it cool and have a debate, even if I don't agree with all your videos. Take care. 100%, Freak AI. I appreciate you hanging around, and I appreciate everybody who's hung out tonight and donated. I respect that a lot. I need to go. I've been up all night. It's 8 a.m. for me. I'll pray for you if you don't mind. Like I do for anyone. Yeah, no, I don't care. Yeah, please do. Yeah, I welcome it. Much love. Take care. And Jesus loves you. If you don't believe, bless. Well, I appreciate you. Yeah, I guess we're going to be going here in a minute because I've been streaming for like 2 hours and 10 minutes now. It doesn't make a lot of sense to keep going at this point, If your 5-year-old nephew walked up to you and said a magical dragon told him the secrets of the universe, it's all about peanut butter, would you really debate him normally? No, but these people aren't 5. They shouldn't be this given to flights of fancy, and I think that the fact that they are means that you kind of have to tread with kid gloves, if you know what I'm saying. Of course, then again, if you're going to treat them with kid gloves, you just tell them they're delusional. So I don't know. Maybe you've got a point, but that's not my tact. But I'm not saying your tact is invalid for sure. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go get you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for super chatting. Thank you for all the interesting questions and conversation. I'm going to see you guys later. I'm really glad I decided to do the stream. Bye for now.